you know they are out there. You may even unknowingly interact with one from time to time. They are survivors. Desperate youth and women living in a world of shadows. Since 2009, youth have been referred for services from 145 of 159 Georgia counties. 518 cases of human trafficking were reported in Georgia in 2014, and it's been growing since. Survivors are in our communities. They are our neighbor, our child's classmate, our fellow church member. Most survivors have known abuse, abandonment, and addiction their entire lives. Many feel trapped with no hope of escape or a second chance. They long for a new chapter of their lives, but they don't know where to turn. When the story of Wellspring Living meets the stories of survivors, lives are transformed. Each chapter of Wellspring Living's 20-year story has been marked with courage and growth as we worked to provide the best care for sex trafficking survivors and those at risk. Each page turn has brought us to today. In 2001, Wellspring Living began by serving women in the community who were hurting and in need of a safe, hopeful place to heal. The first participant was a survivor of sexual exploitation, which sets us on the path to serve victims of sex trafficking throughout the state of Georgia and beyond. During the founding year, we began our first women's residential program. Within the next several years, we expanded the program to serve more women, as well as opened the girls' residential program in 2008 to care for young girls who had been tragically sold for sex in communities around Atlanta. Our work inspired others to join the fight of restoration. Through our establishing of the Wellspring Living Institute in 2010, we have shared knowledge with hundreds of people across the U.S. and internationally to open similar programs and serve survivors in their own communities. It soon became clear that the women in our care needed a pathway to living wage employment. In 2014, the Women's Academy began as our first community-based program where women in both the residential program as well as in the community could receive assistance in GED completion, career readiness, and apprenticeship experience. As we pressed on, a question consistently arose: but how do you prevent trafficking? In 2018, the Youth Academy opened in a local alternative school to address vulnerabilities and meet needs of students who lacked resources such as food and clothing, case management, and therapeutic services. Wellspring learned that post-program resources are as essential as the program itself. As our women's program graduates complete their respective programs, we become more aware of the need for both safe and affordable housing for the women and their children. In 2019, the Graduate Village opened to meet this need. The Receiving Hope Center opened in 2020 as an immediate intake facility for trafficked youth. This program meets a dire need for immediate service for all trafficked youth throughout our state, providing education, medical evaluations, therapy, and trauma-informed care. As our story continues to unfold, we are honored to serve women and youth through these life-changing programs that cover their full spectrum of needs. For 20 years, line after line, page after page, chapter after chapter, lives have been transformed and lives are still being transformed today. These chapters make the story of hope, the story of Wellspring Living. Partner with Wellspring Living today to help survivors know that their story isn't over, it has just begun.